Alright, while David was away, disaster strikes. His city is burned. His wives are taken. His own men turn against him. But this chapter shows a full turnaround. Through a grief, faith, strategy, and God's help, David recovers everything. Let's dive into it. The first part of this chapter covers Ziklag is burned by the Amalekites. David and his men return to Ziklag after being sent home from the Philistine army. They find the city burned and their wives and children taken. The attackers were the Amalekites, enemies David had raided before. David and his men wept aloud until they had no strength left to weep. David and David's wives, Ah- David's wives, Ahinoam and Abigail, were among the captives. The men become so bitter they talked of stoning David, right? This is David's lowest point. Rejected by Israel, distrusted by Philistines, and now almost killed by his own men. But let's check the second part of the chapter, which covers David strengthens himself in the Lord. But David found strength in the Lord his God. He turns to Abiathar, the priest, and calls for the ephod to seek God's direction. This verse marks the turning point. David doesn't act from panic. He asks God first, which should be the right thing to do. The third part of the chapter covers God says pursue. David asks, "Shall I pursue this raiding party? Will I overtake them?" God answers, "Pursue them. You will certainly overtake them and succeed in the rescue." David takes 600 men, but 200 stay behind due to exhaustion, right? The fourth part of the chapter covers they find a key witness. In the wilderness, they find a half-dead Egyptian slave who had been abandoned by the Amalekites. David feeds him, and the man tells them where the raiders are. So he goes, "Swear you won't kill me or return me to my master, and I will take you to them." Even in chaos, God provides a guide through unexpected means, right? So the fifth part of this chapter covers David strikes and wins. David surprises the Amalekites and fights them for a full day. He rescues everyone. No one is missing. He also recovers a great plunder from the Amalekite camp. The Lord fulfills his promise completely, not just rescue but reward. Okay, the sixth part of this chapter covers the plunder debate. When they return, some men say the 200 who stay behind should get none of the spoils. David refuses. The share of the one who stayed will be the same as the one who went to battle. Okay? He makes this a law for Israel from that day forward. David shows generosity, fairness, and leadership, all signs of a king, right? The seventh part of the chapter covers the gifts to Judah. David sends gifts from the plunder to elders of Judah, saying, "Here's a gift for you from the Lord's enemies." These gifts go to cities that had supported David during his exile. This act builds goodwill and political support, wise preparation for what's coming next, right? What are the key lessons from this chapter from the First Samuel chapter 30? 30. Yeah. Yeah. Disaster. The first lesson is disasters can be a setup for deliverance. What began as ruin ended with full restoration and more, right? Second lesson, when all seems lost, strengthen yourself in God. David's comeback started the moment he looked up, not around. Third lesson, God guides through a prayer, not panic. David didn't act until he had direction, and God answered clearly. Fourth lesson, God leaders care for everyone, not just the strong. David honors the tired man and shows the heart of a king, right? So, in summary, David returns to a burned city and broken man, but seeks the Lord, obeys, and leads a daring rescue. He recovers all the captives, defeats the Amalekites, and distributes the spoils with justice. It's a full reversal, showing David's readiness to rule. Okay, showing David's readiness to rule. Yeah, he is ready to rule. You got the point, right? If you enjoyed this chapter, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and see you in the next one. Drop a comment here if you like, whether you like it or not. If you're a hater, drop a comment, just do something. Push the buttons over here or write something, right?